What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Off the Mic Sports Network and our continuing series of previews for the NFL season and the divisions here. And let's go to the NFC West and let's talk about this division because this division is interesting because it has housed um, a couple of recent Super Bowl runner-ups. A Super Bowl runner-up in the 49ers and then a Super Bowl winner in the Rams a few years back. So this is an interesting division because, a lot of uncertainty. Um, you know, some of it's been kind of addressed. The 49ers have been a very interesting team in recent years, have dealt with a ton of injuries. Obviously, a big trade that they made, Deebo Samuel getting traded out to Washington. And obviously, they're not going to have some of their top weapons at wide receiver. Brandon Ayuk, it looks like he's not going to start the season for them. But yeah, this division has kind of fallen back a little bit. The Rams. I love the Rams. I love Sean McVay, but I have my questions about them. Is Matthew Stafford fully healthy? Seahawks have a new quarterback and Sam Darnold, who I like what he did last year. He showed that he can be a solid NFL starter, but I think that the Seahawks are probably a notch below. And Arizona, Arizona impressed me too. Jonathan Gannon, I honestly thought that he wasn't going to last in the NFL, but they really rallied together and made things work there in Arizona. So this is going to be an interesting year to follow this division. I'll take the 49ers to win this division. I think they have more talent than anybody. Just by process of elimination. Christian McCaffrey's still there. Brandon Ayuk will be back. George Kittle, tight end. They've got Nick Bosa. They got all these dudes all over the place. This is a team that's been to the Super Bowl multiple times in the last 5-6 years. Hey, now they've got the answers of, hey, who's going to be their quarterback moving forward? It is Brock Purdy. They pay him a ton of money. Is he going to be able to live up to it is really the question. But I'll take the 49ers to win the division. I will go with the Rams in second, despite the uncertainty around Matthew Stafford. I love Kyron Williams. I love their defensive pieces. Jared Verse emerged. Their defensive rookies emerged massively last year. So it's going to be interesting to see how things go because I think they may have to rely on their defense a little bit more than anticipated if Matthew Stafford's not fully healthy. And the Rams may have to start thinking about a quarterback option moving forward because I don't know how much more Matthew Stafford has left in the tank. But I'll take the Rams to finish in second. I'll take Arizona to finish third. So they draft Will Johnson, and he fell further down in the draft, which is interesting. Obviously, they bring in Dalvin Tomlinson and Calais Campbell, two just big men on the defensive side of the ball. Kyler Murray, when he's staying out of trouble and not being a bonehead, the guy's immensely talented. He's a smaller guy, but he can move and seemed to round into form coming off of the injury. And Marvin Harrison Jr., man, dude's gonna be an all-pro. It's just like his dad. He's a stud. And I'm not just saying that because he's a former Buckeye. Everybody could see that this guy was a special talent in the NFL. And listen, like I said, I was ready to doubt Jonathan Gannon as a head coach, and it didn't look good early for them in Arizona. But he has rounded this team into form and built a culture and built belief in that building. And they're kind of building a young rising monster. And I could easily see this team potentially rising up and finishing second. I still think San Francisco is the best team in this division, but Arizona, I guess you could say, is that wild card in this division, really, because like I said, I don't know. You don't really know fully what you're going to get from Kyler Murray. That's it. That's the big question for me is is Kyler Murray consistent enough at the quarterback position to lead the Arizona Cardinals to a bunch of wins in the NFL this year in the NFC West. And then by process of elimination, I have Seattle in fourth. I like Mike McDonald. I like what he's done there. But they've had issues protecting people. And obviously DK Metcalf's not there anymore. He gets traded to Pittsburgh. So this is going to be a work in progress, I think, for Seattle this year with this roster. But I like Sam Darnold. I like that they gave him an opportunity to, be the starting quarterback. I think he more than earned the right to be somebody's starter after the most of the season that he had in Minnesota. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a work in progress. You lose some of the key significant pieces, and the offensive line has been an issue for Seattle dating back to the days of Russell Wilson. And it's not like they have like Mike McDonald's a good defensive coach, but it's not like they have the Legion of Boom over there in Seattle heading into this season. So yeah, San Francisco, like I said, to me, they win this division by process of elimination just because I think that they're the most talented team in this division. And really, what's going to hold them back this year is what's held them back in recent years, and that's health. That's really the only reason why the Niners have not been a contender in the NFC is because of health. So if they're not healthy, then Arizona or the Rams could win this division. But that's something that you can't predict initially going into the season. It's like you can't tell that somebody's just not going to be healthy. Yeah, Brandon Ayuk's on the PUP list and he's not starting the season for them. But I listen, I like Brock Purdy than most. I don't think he's an amazing quarterback, but you have to pay your quarterbacks at the level that he's getting paid. So I understand why they did it. Christian McCaffrey, if he can stay healthy, he's probably the best, one of the best and most versatile players in the entire NFL. George Kittle's a great fucking tight end, man. It's also an added plus that he's a wrestling fan. Cool. So, and Kyle Shanahan, who, yeah, he's underachieved when it matters most, but still, this guy's won a ton. I think people have just forgotten because last year they were just so banged up and just were like limping to the finish line that like they think that this is just going to be the par for the course. But yeah, 49ers I think will win this division. And then, like I said, it's really a crapshoot for second between Arizona and LA. Again, the issue with the Rams is similar to what it is with the 49ers, and that is health. Is Matthew Stafford fully healthy? It's been one of the biggest unknowns of this offseason is how healthy is Matthew Stafford? Because we've just had this mysterious back issue. Like, Schefter's saying it's like a maintenance thing. We haven't seen or heard really much about this. And Stafford was fucking great last year. Like, he was fucking great. They've got pieces there, but also Cooper Kupp, he's gone. So now it's Puka Nacua as the primary one receiver. And it's just, if Matthew Stafford's not there as the trigger man, they're in trouble. They're definitely in trouble. Like, a lot of this season hinges on his health. So that's my NFC West preview. Thanks everybody for watching here on the channel. We'll have a lot more coming. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.